So, hello everyone. This is my language and culture contact for this the second one. For this language culture contact, I did Spanish television. I watched El Color de Pasión, and I did a Mediplus article on Down syndrome. For El Color de Pasión, this is the vocabulary that I learned. A lot of the vocabulary I had already learned, and I was just hearing it in context is very different. So some of the vocab words that I did learn. Um, Like tranquila, for example, meaning quiet. I had heard that before, but hearing it in context is very different. Confianza, confidence, amistad, friendship, same thing. Words that I already knew, I was just learning them and hearing them in context is very different. Other words, frustrante, frustrating. Um, a lot of the words that I learned were conjugations of verbs, so prejudiciar, hubiera, which means had, andaba, conjugation of the word meaning he walked. Um, some words such as barbaridad sounds like barbarity, but hearing it in context was very different. So understanding what that word meant. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the Down syndrome article that I read. I work with Down syndrome kids in my physical therapy clinic, so when I'm talking to parents and they say certain things, it'll be easier now for me to understand what they're saying. Um, so words like nariz achatada, meaning flat nose, orejas pequeñas, small ears, um, things like, what their doctor would have told them, deficiencia en la capacidad de discernimiento, so deficiency in the ability of discernment. So judgment calls, especially when we're playing with them, different games like throwing and catching, it'll be easier to understand that now. Um, Other vocab words I learned, such as la niñez, which means childhood, obstrucción de las vías respiratorias durante el sueño, so airway obstruction during sleep, things that parents talk to us about regarding concerns they have about their child. When it comes to a cultural comparison of my own culture being Indian and Hispanic, there are not many differences. Um, there are plenty of similarities, but there are differences, although they're not exact. They're not shown all the time, and they're always in different aspects of the culture itself. For example, the soap operas, both Indian and Hispanic, are very dramatic, and they tend to exaggerate a lot of the events. Indian and Mexican soap operas have similar aspects in that they accuse one another of cheating and stealing, lying, trying to get people not to trust certain people. Characters create their own groups, and within those groups, they cause problems and they spread rumors about the other characters that they don't like. When it comes to medical terms, Hispanic terms are very similar to those in English. But when it comes to Indian translations of the English words, a lot of times Indian doctors will use just the English words because it's a lot easier to understand. But if something were to be explained in an Indian language, for like Hindi example, the words are very different than what usually would be known in the English language. Thank you for watching.